If you've ever noticed that you apologize for things that don't really require an apology, replying late to a text, asking a question, speaking too honestly, or even just existing a little too loudly around other people, it probably feels normal to you, almost automatic. But people who apologize too much often don't realize it's usually not just politeness, it's protection. Because somewhere along the way, they learned that keeping the peace was safer than expressing themselves. And once your mind learns that, it stays with you. You see it in small behaviors, rereading a message 5 times before sending it, adding, "Sorry if this sounds weird," before saying what you actually mean, laughing nervously after expressing an opinion, saying sorry when someone else bumps into you. On the surface, these things look harmless, even considerate, but underneath them is usually a deeper pattern, a constant awareness of how you might affect other people emotionally, a quiet fear of being misunderstood, rejected, or seen as difficult. So instead of risking tension, you soften yourself first. You become easier to handle before anyone asks you to. And here's where it gets interesting. Most people think this comes from low confidence, but the real reason is often control, because apologizing early can prevent conflict before it starts. It smooths the atmosphere. It lowers emotional risk. It creates a sense of safety. Your mind starts associating sorry with emotional stability. So eventually, apologizing stops being a conscious choice. It becomes a reflex, not because you actually did something wrong, but because your nervous system is trying to keep everything calm. A lot of people who do this grew up around unpredictable emotions. Maybe speaking up caused tension. Maybe disagreement felt unsafe. Maybe staying agreeable was the only way to avoid conflict. So they adapted. They learned to monitor reactions carefully, to shrink their needs, to take responsibility quickly, even for things that were never theirs to carry. And over time, that shapes identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone allowed to fully express themselves. You become someone who manages other people's comfort first. And the strange part is, most people around you may never notice any of this. They just see someone kind, easygoing, thoughtful, but internally there's often a constant calculation happening. Was that okay? Did I say too much? Should I apologize? And once you notice that pattern, you start seeing it everywhere, not as weakness, not as being too sensitive, but as something learned very early, a way of staying emotionally safe. It was never random, it was a pattern, and that awareness alone changes how you understand yourself. If this made something click for you, you'll probably start noticing these patterns in everyday life too. In the way people speak, the way they soften themselves, the small apologies hidden inside ordinary conversations. Because once you see it, you can't really unsee it. If you found this video meaningful, leave a like. It helps more people who quietly relate to these patterns find videos like this. You can also share it with someone who might understand this deeply, even if they've never talked about it out loud. And if you enjoy exploring psychology, human behavior, and the hidden patterns behind the way people think and feel, subscribe and check out the next videos on the channel.